Don't forget that your skin is your largest organ, and the sun can be your skin's worst enemy. Dermatologist recommended Neutrogena products offer the ultimate protection for your skin. From makeup remover wipes to Hydro Boost Water Gel Facial Moisturizer, BJ's has your entire lineup of Neutrogena skincare products. And now through December 3rd, save $4 on any Neutrogena product at BJ's. Love your skin back and save now through December 3rd, only at BJ's. Zicam knows that when you live life to the fullest, you never want to let a cold slow you down. With Zicam's cold shortening products, you can actually shorten colds when taken at the first sign. And with the winter chill in the air, you need the #1 cold shortening brand to help shorten a cold when taken at the first sign this season. Because you should never let a cold stop you from missing out on your favorite moments of the season. Find Zicam in your local cold and flu aisle.
Times of old, in times of new, there's a God to follow to make it true. It's the pop culture field manual.
Well, welcome everybody. This Pop Culture Field Manual podcast. I'm Israel. This is Cameron. We are glad you are here. And today I'm very excited because I love Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I hope that you do too, because we're going to be talking about him the entire episode.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is a fun episode where we are just going to basically take one actor and break down the action portion, at least, of their career. Why we love Arnold Schwarzenegger, how he's impacted us, what we think about him, a little bit about his life, and that's going to be the episode.
Yeah, literally.
I didn't think about the end of that sentence.
Yeah, it's okay, man. I don't think in general, but yeah, it's going to be a good one. We hope to do more kind of like, actor breakdowns, if you will. And I think Arnold Schwarzenegger, we've mentioned him so many times. He's made some iconic movies and television shows throughout history. So I think we got a lot of things to talk about here. But I mean, starting out, what does the name Arnold Schwarzenegger, when you hear that, Izzy, what is like the first thing that pops in your mind?
I mean, icon, right? Arnold Schwarzenegger is, everybody knows Arnold Schwarzenegger, I feel like. Even if you're not the biggest movie fan, you know him. He's been in he's been in the entertainment circles, right? And he's made it big there. He's been a politician, right? He was the governor of California for a time, and he's in the fitness world. Yeah. Before all of that, he was Mr. Universe for it's 7-time Mr. Universe or something like that.
Mr. Olympia. Right? Yeah, the Olympias.
Back when, I think weightlifting bodybuilding really had its heyday, I think. I'm sure it's pretty vibrant right now, but I don't know if you've ever seen Pumping Iron. That was really kind of what put him on the map. And it's such a fun film, fun documentary. Have you seen it?
I've seen bits and pieces. I haven't watched it all, but there's a lot you could take out of that documentary. I mean, there's so many iconic, we know, Arnold, to me, when I hear the name Arnold Schwarzenegger, the first thing that comes to mind is just one-liners that are, that you just say all the time. They apply to every single event you ever, I'm sure there's a one-liner that has to do with anything that you encounter in life that has come out of an Arnold Schwarzenegger film.
Yep.
But yeah, in Pumping Iron, there's so many great ones when he's describing what it feels like to lift weights. And I remember one of my platoon sergeants in the Guard would always quote this, and he's like, "When you lift weight, it feels like you're coming over here, you're coming over there. It is the greatest feeling in the world." And I'm like, oh God, that's literally amazing. And it's and then the other one was he's like, when the reporter asked him, what do you drink milk? And he's like, "I don't drink milk. I drink beer. Milk is for babies." It's just, he's just such a character on camera and off camera. I think there was a recent documentary that came out on Netflix about Arnie and what he's doing now. Cause I mean, he's an older guy now. He's in his late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah, man. How old is he? 76 maybe?
76.
Looking on his Wikipedia page. Yeah, 76, man. 76, and looking how he does, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. I know. I've honestly just been waiting for him to like crumble like the other bodybuilders because, you talk about like Ronnie Coleman and you like see him now and he's like just, used to be this also Mr. Olympia type guy. And he's one of the most, iconic bodybuilders besides Arnie. And you just see him now and it's kind of like super sad because he's just
Mhm.
like this shriveled and like none of his joints work. And he's had numerous surgeries to like keep him alive.
Yeah.
So like I'm kind of in a demented way. I'm like waiting for like Arnie to have his turn.
I don't know if it's
Uh,
gonna happen though, man,
I
because
don't know.
Arnold
Yeah.
it's good to have something to get you out of bed in the morning, and Arnold is
Yeah.
still working. He's still got a bunch of charity stuff, that he does, fitness stuff, and so he has reasons to continue to keep his body strong for as long as possible. And I guarantee you, he's got some doctors, he's got some
Oh
nutritionists,
yeah.
he's got some people keeping him up.
Sure. And he's got those animals in that documentary. He has like a bunch of animals that he like
Really?
takes care of
Oh
on the
wow.
daily. He has like a miniature horse that lives in his house with him.
What?
Yeah, it's all in that documentary, and it's a very interesting thing, and not to mention he's not like just a bodybuilder, not just a politician, actor. He's also one hell of a business guy. Like
Yeah.
to be able to monetize like all these talents and like create that big of a name for yourself, you kind of have to have an idea or a little bit of like a good understanding of how like the business world works to be able to do all this stuff.
Yeah, he's
Um,
established himself in the kind of zeitgeist of pop culture. And to where, like you said, like the name Arnold Schwarzenegger immediately brings with it like an amount of weight and pull and attractiveness, whether you're a brand or a business, some sort of company, and Arnold Schwarzenegger wants to partner with you. It doesn't matter what your business is, you say yes.
Yeah, you say yes because it's going to promote it.
Yeah.
But humble beginnings for Mr. Schwarzenegger. He was an Austrian man, so he came
Yep.
from Austria. And
Yep.
other actors that actually came out of Austria that I didn't know was what's the guy from Django? He plays the bounty hunter, the original. What's his name again?
Oh, Christoph Waltz?
Christoph Waltz. Christoph
Oh,
Waltz is another Austrian,
I didn't know that. I thought he was
actor.
just
Yeah.
straight up German.
Oh, no. I mean, Germany and Austria, they're obviously right next to each
Very
other. They
close.
share a
Yeah.
border, and they're both German-speaking countries. They were allies during World War II. Yeah, no, I went to Austria and learned all these Austrian facts for a little
Oh,
bit.
that's right. Yeah, you've been around a
Yeah,
little bit. Yeah.
yeah. So, plus my German background, so I have to know these people. But yeah, he came from Austria as a younger cat in the bodybuilding world, and the bodybuilding
Mm,
world led him to his kind of first iconic action role, which we know as Conan the Barbarian. Like
yeah, man.
Conan was his first. If that was,
Well,
am I
I don't think that was
correct?
his very first role because I know of two things. There was Hercules in New York, and then The Villain, which was like this super cheesy, very not good Western. It was like almost like a cartoony type Western
Yeah.
that he did, and it was kind of I think it was might have been the first one where you actually hear his voice because in
Oh no, you're right.
Hercules in
Yeah,
New York,
Hercules.
they don't even use his real voice. It's like, I am Hercules. I am, and
Yeah,
they
because he has the
overdubbed him with
accent.
somebody that didn't have an accent. Yeah. And so, but yes, I think that, whatchamacallit, Conan the Barbarian, that was like the one that began his kind of meteoric rise to fame because when you first
Meteor.
see that moment, when you first see like he's on the wheel of pain, right? And he's a little kid, and then just time goes on, and there's all these other kids on the wheel of pain when he gets like his village gets attacked and are all dead, and they take him away, and he's like a slave now. And it's slowly but surely as the years go by, it's just him. Everybody else dies or gets sent away, and it's just him on the wheel pushing it around. His head's down, and the music swells and he brings his head up and it's Arnold Schwarzenegger just like, he's like the undying, the unconquerable spirit,
Yeah,
it's like, I mean, if there was anyone that was born to play Conan,
it
it's
was
not
Arnold
Jason
Schwarzenegger.
Momoa. Yeah.
No,
I'm sorry. I love Jason Momoa. I'm sorry, Jason.
yeah.
You're great. You're a great guy. But Arnold Schwarzenegger is Conan the Barbarian.
Okay, so from my understanding, Conan, a little bit of digging that I probably should have done before we stepped on here. But Conan was not his first role. You're absolutely right. Hercules was, but it was so bad that he let's see, he worked with Jeff Bridges and Stay Hungry just a few years later, and then
Okay.
he was cast on Conan the Barbarian, which according to MovieWeb.com, is his like first respectable role. Like that's, that's a movie that people love. Nobody was just like, oh, I love Hercules in New York.
Yeah,
It's like,
I love The Streets of San Francisco or The Villain.
yeah, they were great. Yeah, no, everyone's like, well, the first like good movie that I could say Arnie was in was Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of Conan, man, that's like you said, casts that were like born for people, or roles that were born for people. And Conan, that's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he really embodies that. Just because of his physique, and then also the character itself is this kind of downtrodden, like comes from humble beginnings and then rises to power. And he really, I always thought Arnold Schwarzenegger was the perfect actor. Like he shines when he has good material, like a good script and a pretty good director, because we all know he's done some stuff that hasn't been all that great, but on the stuff that he does, like when the director or somebody sees him and knows how to draw out his kind of raw power and talent, that's when he's the best,
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's do this before we jump in his filmography right now. What are your favorite and least favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger films that he's done?
Oh man, favorite. That's so hard, man. Because like I feel like Terminator 2. If I had to say, I'd probably say Terminator 2, because I actually like he does such a good job in that role, right? He's the iconic Terminator, but then James Cameron switches it in the second one to where he's a good guy. And then at the end, man, when he gives up his life and I cried, man. I still get choked up and emotional when I think about him falling into the molten steel and he gives the thumbs up. He's like, I know now why you cry, but that's something I can never do, That's got to be my favorite, because that's the one that has stuck with me for decades and decades. My least favorite, Batman and Robin was pretty garbaggio. End of Days is not that good. It's just as he went on, it was I don't know. Either he kind of made some bad business decisions, or people just couldn't kind of harness, the talent that was there, or he kind of played himself out. But yeah, I'd say if I had to choose, gun to my head, have to choose Batman and Robin. It's just Mr. Freeze. Yeah, he just I don't know, man. Sometimes you're playing a villain and it's cheesy and you're having fun with it and it's kind of like fun, but his stuff, man, his lines, it's like they went too far with the one-liners, and now you say them not because you're like, it's like a cool memory. You're saying it to make fun of the fact of how cheesy it is. Freeze in hell, Batman. It's like, oh yeah, no. That whole movie was
chill out.
A rainbow vomit of creativity and weirdness. What about you, man?
It's hard just because there's so many good ones. It's hard to pick. Obviously Terminator 2 was one of the most, was the best Terminator film. You also have Running Man, which is awesome. Total Recall.
I just watched that the other day. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Freaking, what's the line? Frozone is now.
Frozone. That's Incredibles. Sub-Zero.
No. Yeah. Sub-Zero. Yeah, dude. What does he say when he kills him? He's like, Sub-Zero is now.
Here lies Sub-Zero. Now Plane Zero.
Yeah.
That one rides the line of too many one-liners too, man.
It's there, but it ends up doing it.
Yeah, it holds the line. Yeah, that one's got some really good social commentary that I was like, oh wow, that's pretty relevant. Anyway,
that's pretty relevant. Well, for me, it's Predator. If I had to choose, Predator. Obviously, playing Dutch.
Yes.
It's in my opinion one of the best. It's the best Predator film that's ever been made. And then to me, as an action film, it combines everything that I love. Military. Very creative monster makeup, as well as just a great story. And the one-liners in Predator are undefeated. So for me, probably favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger film is definitely Predator, the 1987 one where he plays Dutch. And my least favorite, that's a hard one. I might get flack. I might get flack for saying this, but Twins, probably is one of my least favorite. Yeah. Just because it's over just the storyline. There is no way that they grew up on this island, and who's the other guy?
Danny
Danny
DeVito.
DeVito. Yeah, Danny DeVito is like his brother. And, Arnold, his brother was taken away at birth, and Arnold grows up on that island, and he becomes extremely smart, extremely strong, and he finally goes out to like find his mother. And then there's a lot of cringe in that movie. I mean, it's a comedy. Like, I understand this isn't, this isn't a drama or a thriller. It's a comedy. It's supposed to be over the top ridiculous. But, to me, Arnold Schwarzenegger is a action star. All the movies that are great are action films. That's like, for me, when actors that are like known and should stick to a specific thing are placed in roles that, aren't really made for them. For example, I'm a huge Jack Black fan.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think he's hilarious. And to me, he's a comedian. He's like he's a straight comedy actor.
Yeah.
But when they like cast him as the director in King Kong, even though it was Peter Jackson, you're waiting for him to say something silly and funny, but he never does.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that to me, that's like, I me's still a great actor. It's still an entertaining movie, but in the back of my mind, you're like, why is Jack Black here?
Yeah, it was very outside casting. By the way, I need to amend my least favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. Definitely got to be Terminator: Dark Fate.
Okay. Oh yeah.
I hate that movie.
Yeah, right. It's right off the bat they kill off Sarah Connor, and you're like,
Oh
what?
god, they kill off John Connor. Yeah.
Oh, John Connor. Yeah, just one of the biggest protagonists throughout the entire series, and you're like, wait, what?
Way to look at the second movie. All right, one of my favorites of all time. Way to look at it right in the face and just spit in its face and then punch it in the nuts and be like, and just while it's down, then you kick it in the ribs, and you're like, my movie's coming now. You better watch out, Terminator 2. Here comes Dark Fate. And then Dark Fate proceeds to be one of the worst movies of all time.
Oh my goodness. Well, okay, now that that's out of the way. So we got favorites and worst, but let's talk about just some good. Let's just talk about some iconic ones that he's done. And I think we mentioned Conan, we've mentioned the Terminator series, but what we haven't mentioned so far is what? Do you have one in mind?
No, go. You were gonna
go.
I always do this. I always interrupt you. Go.
It's okay.
Continue with that.
I'm used to it. Don't worry, man. I know you just have so much to say. But Commando, 1985, right after Terminator, before Predator. And I see that Chris has put these in chronological order based off time release. So that's
perfect. Okay.
Oh, that's perfect. Thanks, Chris. We appreciate you doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Commando. So after the Terminator in 1984, Commando came out in 1985, and this one was awesome.
Yeah, John Matrix.
Yeah, John Matrix, Special Forces retired, living out in the middle of nowhere like every other Special Forces retired guy.
With his daughter, Alyssa Milano.
Yeah, and they have a weird father-daughter relationship, and it's like, he's just out there chopping wood, and his daughter's kidnapped.
Yep.
And then everybody knows you take the daughter.
It was basically taken before Taken came along.
It was taken before Taken, but the daughter wasn't on vacation. She was just taken by, what are they, South American terrorists or something like that?
Yeah, South American, dictator. Those guys were that kind of antagonist was pretty popular in the 80s.
Oh yeah, Well, I think it had to do with the obviously at the time, what was it? Was it Venezuela or was it Colombia? The Colombia Missile Crisis.
Oh yeah, not too well. That was a while ago. It was like the 70s, I think.
Was that in the 70s?
But that definitely did. Yeah, and we had a Grenada. So we had some dealings with South America that kind of in pop culture sealed the South American dictatorships in our.
Oh, I'm sorry, Cuban
Missile Crisis.
Pardon my inaccuracy.
You got there.
South American countries, but obviously you have like the Red Scare back in the communism. We were terrified of it.
Yeah,
still are. Better dead than red.
That's right.
And at the time, there was a good flux of South American countries that were considered communist countries. So Cuban Missile Crisis, October 1962, and the Soviet Union was obviously in that. And then also, another antagonist that I think was Cuba as well was the Cubans and the Soviets worked together in Red Dawn, the original,
right.
the
And
best
we got
one.
invaded by the Cubans and the Soviets. Yep.
Yep.
The only
Yeah.
one that exists in my mind.
Yeah, the only Red Dawn that's actually out there. Yeah, there's only one. Yeah. Yeah, sorry Hemsworth, but there's only one Red Dawn.
All right.
But yeah, no, classic antagonist. So Cuban.
What do you like about the movie Commando? Why does it stick out in your mind?
There's to me there's a fine line because if you've listened to this podcast for a while, I'm a very judgmental man when it comes to like military tactics and proper weapons and doing
Yeah.
things. If you're making a film that has to do with military, you might as well get it right while you're out, like while you're after it.
Yep.
But there is a fine line of entertainment and action and military where I think in the 80s you could get away with it way more because like back in the 80s we didn't have the gear, we didn't have the doctrine that we do today.
Yeah, and I feel like it was after Vietnam, but I don't know how many former military people got into the entertainment industry, because I feel like there's a lot more now that are kind of, after they get out, they go into the entertainment route and they are able to in some ways offer their opinions. But in the 80s it seemed like, man, it's just like anybody could make a military based movie.
Oh yeah, and that's why I said there's like that fine line. I think Commando was appropriate for the time and like just also amazing recruiting tool, I think, because way to lie to everybody, and then people, see that movie and they're like, I want to join the military because this looks badass. And then they get there and they're like, what the hell? Yeah. So Commando's awesome. Great one lines coming out of Commando. Awesome weapons. When did Sylvester Stallone's Rambo come out? Do you know off the top of your head?
No, not off the top of my head.
Yeah, the whole action star.
First Blood Part 2. The First Blood Part 2 came out in 1985. That was the one that really made it a strictly action movie, because First Blood was more of a commentary on the homecoming of veterans. It's based on a book.
When did First Blood come out?
That's a good question, man. Let's see.
82, 83?
Yeah, First Blood, 1982, yeah.
1982. So we're in the 80s, early 80s, mid 80s here. And like that's where like the whole, hip firing machine guns action, screaming while hip firing. And we know there's a lot of that.
Yes.
In Commando. Like that final scene when he's doing the rescue and he ends up fighting his buddy, what's his name again? Bennett.
Let off some steam, Bennett.
I
need a gun to kill you, Matrix.
Yeah, so like Bennett, obviously, and then he's doing the raid with the machine gun. He's got the 4-barreled rocket launcher that nobody's ever seen before.
Does it even exist?
I think it does exist. Let me do a quick Google. It's a real, right? It's real. I thought seeing that, I was like, there's no way I've never seen that before. But then, okay, this is called the M202 Flash. So it is and Flash stands for Flame Assault Shoulder. Is an American rocket launcher manufactured by Northrop Corporation, designed to replace World War II vintage flamethrowers such as the M1 and M2 that remained the military standard incendiary devices well into the 1980s. The XM202 prototype launcher was tested in Vietnam as part of the XM191 system. So basically, it wasn't like, an HE rocket launcher. HE stands for high explosive. It shot incendiary rockets. So the 66 millimeter incendiary rockets, the same diameter as like the M72 Law rocket launcher.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like to me it was essentially 4 Laws mounted in a 2x2 configuration in this box, and they would fire, equipped with M235 warheads containing approximately 1.34 pounds of incendiary agent. And the substance, often mistaken for napalm, is in fact TPA, thickened pyrophoric agent. Oh, so it literally was designed. So it's not necessarily like, it shoots rockets, but it's not like explosions. It's like incendiary rockets to replace the flamethrower. That's very interesting.
That's wild, man. Well, that's good to know, man. Commando, great. I mean, Terminator is Terminator and Terminator 2 are two of those other ones where I feel like James Cameron understood how to best utilize Arnold Schwarzenegger's talents, like his stature, and even with the accent, with his lines and stuff like that. But it's another one of those things that those are the ones that cemented him in the like the collective consciousness as like an icon. He just had this presence, which of course you totally believe that he's a cyborg, the way that they have his movements, and all that kind of stuff, and great special effects too. I remember really liking that.
For the 80s. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. He doesn't really have any lines in that movie, right?
He has a few lines. Yeah, he does. Like, I think when he, like in
give
the
me
beginning,
your clothes.
When he's looking, give me your clothes. Yeah, he's like, nice night for a walk, huh? Yeah, he's like, nice night for a walk. He's like repeating them, and he's like, I give me your clothes, give them to me. And then like when he's looking, he's like, are you Sarah Connor? Are you so and so? Because he's going down the list, he's looking for her. So he has a few lines, but yeah, towards the end, it's really he has nothing to say.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a prop.
He's just coming. Yeah, he's just coming after him, But he has one of the most iconic lines in movie history. Maybe even, I mean, if there was ever a list anywhere of the top 10 iconic one-liners, he has it when he's at the police station. And it's not even meant to, it is an iconic line now, but it seems like it's such a simple line at the time, where he's at the police station front desk. And the guy's like, you got to have an appointment or whatever. He's like, he looks around. He's like, wait here.
I'm going to need a bigger boat.
Right now. Yes. No, yeah. And then the shark jumps in from out the window. Yeah. You're like, wow, this one took a left turn. Yeah. Yeah, man. Wait here. I'll be back. It's just like, that's it, man. And then I think he's probably said that in every Terminator iteration after this, they work it in there. But I think James Cameron was the only one that was able to utilize it to its fullest degree.
Does he say "I'll be back" in any other films outside the Terminator
yes,
universe?
He does. Yeah, I just watched The Running Man a couple days ago, just because I was kind of jonesing and wanting to see it. And when he's about to be sent into the play area to get hunted by the stalkers, he looks to the guy and he says, Killian, I'll be back. And then Killian says, only in a rerun. And then he shoots him down there. God. So they kind of play with it a little bit.
Yeah.
Don't forget that your skin is your largest organ, and the sun can be your skin's worst enemy. Dermatologist recommended Neutrogena products offer the ultimate protection for your skin. From makeup remover wipes to Hydro Boost Water Gel Facial Moisturizer, BJ's has your entire lineup of Neutrogena skincare products. And now through December 3rd, save $4 on any Neutrogena product at BJ's. Love your skin back and save now through December 3rd, only at BJ's.
Well, shopping for a car?
Yep, Carvana made financing a car as smooth as can be.
Oh yeah?
I got pre-qualified instantly and had real terms personalized just for me.
Doesn't get much smoother than that.
Well, I got to browse thousands of car options on Carvana, all within my budget.
Doesn't get much smoother than that.
It does. I actually wanted a car that seemed out of my range, but I was able to add a cosigner and found my dream car.
It doesn't get much...
Oh, it gets smoother. It's getting delivered tomorrow.
Visit Carvana.com or download the app to get pre-qualified today.
Yeah,
that's cool. That's good. That's good writing.
Yep. I wonder if he says it in Last Action Hero. I can't quite remember the details of that movie, but I'm almost. It would be great if he did, because Last Action Hero was a bit of a commentary on action movies in general, action movie cliches, because the kid gets like transported into the movie itself.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Mm-hmm. Actually, that was a recent one that I had no idea that the Last Action Hero was like a thing. And I watched it and I absolutely loved it.
That's great, man. That actually was one of those ones where that didn't do too well. That was kind of one of the, in his career at the time, at least, it was not kind of very well received. I remember it not, people were like, oh, is this kind of the beginning of the end of Arnold Schwarzenegger's career, And it totally wasn't, because before that he did Terminator, and after that he did True Lies. And True Lies was amazing. James Cameron, once again, he and James Cameron team up, where he's a CIA agent that's that action comedy. That's that Ross and Marshall Thurber's favorite genre, is that action comedy stuff, where it's the action there, and he does great in it. But then also Jamie Lee Curtis is his kind of little like mousy housewife who has no idea that he's a CIA agent.
Yeah. Which seems to be a common theme, because, not knowing that your spouse is something is like, obviously you have other movies that incorporate that, like Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Yeah.
And then I would go as far as to say like Total Recall. Obviously, he doesn't know that he's something, and like
Yeah.
the spouse knows. It's kind of like these little tiny little secrets that you seem to find out.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
Last Action Hero to me was like, I think when you take a concept, right, and you incorporate almost all of Hollywood into it, is I think it's a great idea, because you saw it with like Steven Spielberg's Ready Player One. And they start incorporating all these different universes of all these films and video games and put them into one film, and you're just like, this is kind of crazy. We're like, we've broke the plane of existence here. We're like in the multiverse.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought it was a great idea, but I'm sad to hear it didn't live up to like the big potential, because I saw it come on Netflix and I was like, oh, I have to watch this.
Yeah. Maybe I should watch it again too, because I remember liking it. I just remember at the time, I think people were like poo-pooing it because it didn't blow up at the box office.
Poo-pooing it.
They were
Yeah.
like, a little bit of this, but yeah, man, it's True Lies. After the one right after that, True Lies is one of my all-time favorite Schwarzenegger movies, because it showed that he can do the comedy and the action at the same time.
Yeah.
If he's got the right script,
No, absolutely.
Have you seen it? Have you seen True Lies?
Yes, I've seen True Lies.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. We've
Otherwise,
talked about it
we have?
numerous times. Yeah, we've
Oh,
talked
okay.
about True Lies before on this podcast. Yeah, it's when the terrorist is on the rocket and he sends it, and that's how he kills the main antagonist.
That's right. He's like, you're fired.
You fired, of course.
And what's her name plays his daughter in that? Mila Kunis, I think. Oh,
Really?
Eliza Dushku. Eliza Dushku.
Okay, I was gonna be like, huh? Like must have been a very young Mila Kunis.
Yeah. Tia Carrera. Yeah. Bill Paxton plays the skeezy car salesman who pretends to be a secret agent in order to try to sleep with Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Arnold Schwarzenegger's like pulling all sorts of resources from the CIA to track them while they're going on while she's cheating on him.
Oh my God. Well, another one that I enjoy, just because it is an action comedy as well, and there's a lot of good things in there, is Kindergarten Cop, man.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good feel good. Plus, I love the scene when he's talking to that little boy who's just so much smaller than all his other classmates. And obviously couldn't remake this today without, bunching some panties, but he was just like, boys have penises and girls have vaginas. Like, you couldn't make that today without, someone fucking burning down a city. But yeah, that one's an awesome good. And when he he realizes that like is it the wife or the son or the kid is being beaten by the father?
Yeah, the one kid.
Yeah, and then he just literally beats the fuck out of him.
Yep.
It's great. It's awesome.
And it's got a great cast, because the principal is played by Linda Hunt, who is the old lady. She's almost like the Edna Mode prototype.
Yeah,
she's the small, short, older lady she always wears the glasses. Yeah. And she's like, how did it feel to punch that SOB?
Yeah, that's good.
Kindergarten Cop, man. That's one of those ones where I feel like they take his image and then they turn it on its head. They play with that tough guy image, and they put him in an environment. It's a great idea. They put him in an environment where it's like you never expect him to be,
exist in.
Yeah.
That's kind of like what's that one Vin Diesel film where
The Pacifier?
The Pacifier. Yeah. That's a great one. He's a terrible Navy SEAL. And then, and I feel like Kindergarten Cop was definitely the catalyst for The Pacifier. It's literally the same movie.
Yeah, they do. They tend to do that a lot in Hollywood, where they'll take the same basic premise and then they'll just repackage it with a different cast and modernize it if they feel like they need to. The Pacifier, I feel like they've done that a little bit with. What was it like? There was like Three Amigos, and then it was Galaxy Quest, and then it was Tropic Thunder. It's the same premise. It's actors who get put into the real thing. Same kind of thing.
Well, it's working. It works for me because I enjoy those movies thoroughly.
Yeah.
But you mentioned Batman and Robin. I mean, that one's just a cheese fest. Is that the Batman with who's who? Because I know Batman's undergone a lot of different
There's been
actors.
a couple of different actors. That was George Clooney who
That
played
was George
Batman.
Clooney's.
Yep.
Okay, and then who was the other Batman? The one that was
Val
recently
Kilmer.
Val
I mean,
Kilmer,
first
and
one,
then
Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton.
Yeah, Michael
That's the
Keaton
one
was the 80s Tim Burton Batman. So Cameron, tell me about your impressions of Arnold Schwarzenegger's performance in Batman and Robin. Why did it work or not work for you?
So I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, Batman and Robin is made me the man I am today. Um, I think it was just a fun, fantastical, not fantastic, but fantastical
Yeah.
representation of Batman. Because I mean, we've had the Christopher Nolan Batmans, which are like ingrained in reality, like, oh, this can actually happen.
Yep.
And then, obviously, then we're moving back to the comic book portrayals. And I love Tim Burton. I'm a big Tim Burton fan. I like how he puts, this macabre twist on topics and makes it really dark and just kind of like mysterious. So I think it has a place in the Batman universe. But I'm not going to sit here and say that it is the best Batman that's ever been created. But it definitely incorporates a lot of things that like we haven't seen in Batman in a very long time. Like I don't think, besides the newest one, like obviously Jim Carrey as the Riddler, but that's not in Batman and Robin.
That's Batman Forever.
That's Batman Forever.
Or
but
that was Val Kilmer. Yeah.
Oh, that was Val. Okay, then let's rewind to here. But like
it was
obviously
still Joel Schumacher. It was the same director.
Same director.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we haven't seen Mr. Freeze again. But then again, it's not. I feel like all the villains now that are being portrayed, Batman's starting to become more realistic and like, hey, this can actually happen. Like it's this isn't just comic booky anymore. But like Mr. Freeze is one of those really fantastical characters that I think fits the Tim Burton realm. It's just why Arnold Schwarzenegger to play it,
Yeah.
I mean, it ended up happening anyways, regardless of what I thought. And I'm not going to go back in the future and be like, hey, new casting. Because like Mr. Freeze, he's not known for his strength. He's known for his intelligence. Yeah. And at the time, when you see a bodybuilder, you don't think, oh, that guy's like a science nerd. Obviously a lot of biology goes into bodybuilding and like understanding the body and like kinesiology and all that stuff. But like back then, you're like, this guy's just pushing around weights. What does he know about science?
Right. It's movies are a visual medium, and if you want to, it's easy to communicate something about somebody if you try to incorporate certain visuals, you know what I mean, about them.
Yeah.
Or you can play against them, like in Kindergarten Cop,
Yeah. So I mean, it's there. It has a place in the Batman universe. But like, yeah, it is what it is. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. It's just it is what it is. I can't go back in the future and stop it from happening.
Right.
Because then something in my present would be changed. Maybe I wouldn't have been an Army Ranger. You know how time travel works.
Oh yeah.
Actually, unless
more than anybody does,
unless the Flash movies are correct, and it's just a wet noodle.
It's all spaghetti.
It's all spaghetti. Yeah,
mom's spaghetti.
It's just mom's spaghetti. But yeah, I mean, I already got your opinion on Batman and Robin, so I'm not even going to ask you.
Yeah.
But a couple of notable movies that Arnie was in before we move on to our question, and then our game that we always play. Yes. End of Days. Escape Plan. Yeah, End of Days.
Okay. Real quick, just because you said End of Days, man, I was in Solvang, California, done with fun little Dutch tourist town a couple days ago with the wife. We were walking around. No kidding. I saw Kevin Pollak, who is in End of Days.
Oh, really?
He was just he was on the street corner. No, I didn't say hi to him.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask you. Yeah, I met him once. So I was waiting for you to say him.
I know, and I wish that I had, because then I would have had another amazing celebrity run-in story. But he didn't look like he was having a very good day. So I was like, man, I'll let it go. But yeah, Kevin Pollak, God bless you, my friend. I saw you in Solvang. Don't think I didn't notice you. I did. I'm a fan of your work. I love you.
Well, if he was having a bad day, what celebrities love is when complete strangers come up to them and insert their personal wants and necessities in other people's lives. So you should have just went up and said,
right.
Yeah, that's probably what he needed.
I totally would have brightened up his day.
Yeah, everybody knows if you're a celebrity, I know you know that I know that you know that you love when random people come up to you and interrupt your entire day. Yeah. It's part of the perks.
Good old Kevin. Oh, he's gonna be in the Santa Clauses. Okay, he's Cupid in the Santa Claus. So he's still
Oh,
working.
still
He was in
working.
One Up. He was in up. Oh, he was Rule in the Willow TV series. He reprised his role as Rule, the brownie creature. Okay, so maybe I felt bad because I didn't know how much work he was doing these days. And sometimes I wonder if there's like this thing with actors where if they haven't worked for a while and somebody says, "Oh, I remember you from that thing," it like reminds them of like the glory days or days gone by, and maybe it's not a happy memory. I didn't know which way it could cut. So I figured just let it go by. But Kevin Pollak, I'm a big fan. I loved you in End of Days.
Okay. Way to make his day. Hopefully he's listening to this podcast and he's like, okay, well, yeah, I was recognized, so that's good. But yeah, also you have like Escape Plan which was a nice little, combination of Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Because I mean, they're both like in that realm,
Yep.
They were in
they
the
kind of
Expendables
danced around
together.
each other in the action movie genres. They kind of go back and forth, pound for pound.
Yeah, no, so that was a good little, blast from the past, reuniting two action stars and putting them in the same place for you to enjoy. You had The Last Stand, obviously, the Expendables, like I mentioned, that Arnold's in.
Yeah. Great nostalgia. Great. That's how you do nostalgia. That's a correct way to do nostalgia of those movies.
Yeah, but I feel like they kind of did too much nostalgia where they kept going and going and going,
Yeah, I think with this last one especially, not that I've seen it, but I didn't hear good things.
Yeah. But cool. So that is going to conclude us talking about Arnie, unless he's in this game, which I'm assuming he is. But before we do that, let's talk about our fan question. And this week it comes from Brendan via email. And he says, "We know what your favorite movies are, but what is your favorite fictional character?"
Favorite fictional character, man. That's such a
fictional.
broad question. It's hard to nail one down. I'm trying to think of people in characters who have inspired me, right?
Yeah, impacted your life in some
impacted
way.
my life is like I want to be like that person. Like you would love to have the dedication to duty and your fellow soldiers and your AI compatriots, like Johnny Spartan, John 117 from Halo, Master Chief. But I'm not going to say he's like my favorite character. Let's see who's just been a paragon of a paragon of virtue in my life. I'm doing the typing.
Well, while you do that, why don't I answer? Because mine's pretty basic.
Oh, please do.
Okay. So for me, I'm just going to keep it super basic. Everybody, if you listen to this podcast, you know what my favorite movies are. And my favorite movie, Lord of the Rings. When I was a kid, Legolas, the character played by Orlando Bloom, was like, iconic in my life. And he's still one of the most badass characters to ever hit the silver screen.
Yeah.
So favorite fictional character by far, Legolas. He's intelligent. He's extremely, he has high dexterity. He has high agility. He can run forever. He can fight forever. He's a whiz with the bow and arrow. He's also got flowing golden locks. Yeah, he's just a handsome guy in general. So for me, Legolas was one of my favorite characters. He was so impactful in my life when these movies came out. Instead of giving me Christmas presents, as a kid and saying, writing from, or this gift is from Santa. If your parents loved you and, they cared about you, they did this. But my parents put from Legolas, from Gimli, from Aragorn. And I remember I got a bow and arrow like starter kit, and it was from Legolas, and I was fucking geeked.
Yeah. I like it, man. Okay. I got one. In fact, I'm going to have to steal from your answer a little bit, but if a character at the very least should be entertaining, right? If they're well written, they can be inspiring. They can tell you something about, human nature, or maybe guiding principles or beliefs that would make you a better person. I feel like Samwise Gamgee is is like a perfect example of what true friendship looks like, what true loyalty looks like, what perseverance looks like, what, never leaving your friend's side, no matter what they're going through.
Yeah.
That loyalty is it's something to be sought after. And I think in pop culture, I think that's the best of what a character can be, is an inspiration to have you lead a better life. So I'm going to go with Samwise Gamgee.
All right. Shout out Sean Astin. Thank you,
There you go.
for that iconic role. Okay. Well, sweet. We hope we answered that question for you, Brendan. We are now going to transition to the game, and I am the game master here. So, Izzy, are you ready to play this one?
I'm ready to play. I'm ready. Whatever you got, you bring it at me. You bring it.
Okay.
Bring it.
Well, this game is a fun one called Whose One-Liner Is It Anyways? Nice name.
Nice.
Used to love that show. But anyways, I'm going to say a famous movie one-liner, and you tell me if it was Arnold who said it or someone else. Bonus points if you can tell me who the someone is.
Okay, I'm going to make a prediction. I'm going to get every one of these right.
Okay, I think you might, but let's dive right in. No warm-up, because obviously you're so confident, so I'm not going to give it to you because it doesn't exist.
Watch me crash and burn.
There is no warm-up, but okay. Here we go. First line. We got a couple down the line, so let's try to get through these. But with the first one, here we go. And I'm not going to do an accent if it is, because that'll just give it away. I'm just going to write, because I realize if I do the accent, it's like, or that might throw you off.
Yeah, freeze in hell, Batman. It's like, I can't quite
you got
place
that.
it.
Okay, so here we go. I did nothing. The pavement was his enemy.
That's going to be Arnold Schwarzenegger from Twins. When the guy tries to rob him and he tries to pull the suitcase away and he's just holding on to it, and the guy gets thrown off of his motorcycle and hits his head. He wasn't wearing a helmet. I did nothing. The pavement was his enemy.
Okay, well, you got it right off. Yes, indeed, Arnold said that, and it was from Twins, so off to a good start. Moving on. Yeah, but they were all bad.
That's going to be from True Lies, when Jamie Lee Curtis asks if he's ever killed anybody. He's like, yeah, but they were all bad. When he has the truth serum, so she takes the opportunity to ask him some questions.
Oh man, you're killing it. You know exactly what movie it's from. You're not just like, yeah, that was Arnold, but I don't recall. Yeah, absolutely right. That was said by Arnold from True Lies. So far you're holding yourself to your word. But moving on, here we go. Next line. If he dies, he dies.
That is not Arnold Schwarzenegger. That is Ivan Drago from Rocky IV, I think, right? He's just punched out Apollo Creed, and he says if he dies, he dies.
Yeah, I mean, similar accents, I guess.
Yeah, but, Russian, German, Austrian, it's all kind of
Austrian. Yeah, it's all European. But yes, absolutely right. Dolph Lundgren, Rocky IV. If he dies, he dies.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. I'm not cheating on you. Oh, sorry, I screwed that.
You said it out. That's Arnold Schwarzenegger. Wait, say it again.
I am not shitting on you.
I mean, you said it with the accent. I'm actually just going to guess Arnold because you gave me the accent, but I can't quite place it.
Okay, then I'll give you half credit
fault.
because I gave it away. Yeah, that's my fault, man. Yeah, it's just so easy. It's just so easy to try and say these in the accent. But yes, it is Arnold, but it's from Red Heat.
Red Heat? Oh, not one I've seen many times. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, but that was
I just remember the iconic Sweat House Lodge in Siberia fight scene where they're naked fighting and they bust through the wall outside into the snow and they're fighting naked in the snow.
Okay. Well, actually, I haven't seen Red Heat, so I mean, you'd know better than I would. But moving on, and I won't do the accent, even if it kills me. I'm no mercenary. Nobody pays me. And I think somebody owes me something. I take it.
I'm not a mercenary. Nobody pays me. I think somebody owes me something.
Somebody owes me something. I take it.
That doesn't sound familiar, man. I'm going to say that was not Arnold Schwarzenegger. That was somebody else. And I don't know who it sounds like. Something from Conan the Destroyer, but
ooh, you should have twisted because wow, it is from Conan the Destroyer.
It is from Conan the Destroyer.
Yeah, and it is Arnold. I'm a mercenary. Nobody pays me, and if I think somebody owes me something, I take it.
Really? Oh, wow.
Really? Yeah, you even got it right. Yeah.
I wish I could remember what part of the movie, because I'm thinking of when the young girl's asking the Black Warrior chick. She's like, "What do you do when you want a man?" She's, "You grab him and you take him." But
Yeah.
that's not the part. Oh man. Oh no, my perfect record. Oh dang.
Okay. Sorry, man. Way to sell yourself short. But here we go.
When I'm wrong, I'm like really wrong.
You're really wrong, which is funny because you were like right at one point.
Right.
Okay, here we go. Good, bad. I'm the guy with the gun.
Oh, that's Bruce Campbell from the Army of Darkness.
Okay. Yeah, you got that. Okay.
You're good at. I'm good at. You're good at. I'm bad at. You're good little two shoes.
Anyways, moving on. Here we go. Next line. I'll take my coat back now, asshole.
I mean, that sounds like an Arnold Schwarzenegger line. I can't remember. I'll take my coat now. Arnold Schwarzenegger is good at selling those cursing lines, But I'm going to say yes, it's Arnold Schwarzenegger. I just can't quite place where it's from.
Ooh, it was not Arnold Schwarzenegger. It is actually Kurt Russell from Escape from L.A.
Oh, I never saw Escape from L.A. Dang
you
it.
haven't? Okay. Okay, that's something you need to watch. But yeah, it's funny because they really kind of sell that one line in Escape from LA and Escape from New York with Snake Plissken.
Yeah.
So I could see where you'd get confused. But unfortunately, my buddy, you're now digging yourself deep to a hole.
I'd say I'm about at ground level. If I get any more wrong, I'll be digging my own grave.
Okay, but you got a couple more to increase your average here. So let's move right on. And this one is, I don't step on toes. I step on necks.
Man, we're in uncharted territory now. I mean, it's a good line. It's a good one-liner, but I'm not sure if it was Arnie. I don't step on toes, I step on necks. I mean, it sounds good with the accent. I'm going to say yes, it was Arnie. I just can't quite place the movie.
Oh God, Izzy.
Oh no.
I'm sorry, man. It is not Arnold. It is Chuck Norris from Braddock, Missing in Action 3.
Oh God. Okay. Now see, Chris knows. He started out easy and now he's just getting harder and harder, so
yeah.
Well, hats off. Well played, Chris.
Well played. Well, you got one more here. Let's see if you can end it on a good note. All right, let's see what you're thinking on this one. If you don't stop screwing around back there, this is what I'm going to do with you. Proceeds to break a pencil.
Yes. I think that was Kindergarten Cop when he's flying out to go to meet with the kids. Just like a little example of how he doesn't get along with children. So I think it's Kindergarten Cop and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Ding, ding, ding. All right. Way to finish it off strong. Yeah, you finished strong. You missed a couple, but all in all, I think you did fairly well.
Thanks, man. Good game, Chris. That's good stuff. Anytime you get a nerd talking about his nerdy favorite stuff, it's always a good time.
Exactly. Well, more importantly, folks, we hope you had a good time on this episode of The Actor, and in this case, Arnold Schwarzenegger Breakdown. Let us know what you thought by sending us an email to our email at pcfmpodcast@gmail.com. You can send us a message to our Instagram page, PCFM Podcast. We love interacting with you guys. We love hearing what you guys want to hear. And actually, a lot of these episodes nowadays, because me and Izzy are getting creatively dry, come from you guys. So
that's right.
Keep them coming.
Yeah, keep them coming, folks. Join us on our Patreon. If you like this episode, you want even more content, you get full episodes. You get extra episodes that are mid-tier. And then every month, we're going to do a live stream of one of the movies that you suggest from our patrons. And it's a good time, folks. We hang out, watch a movie, give our commentary. It's good times.
Absolutely. And with that, we'll see you on the next one. And
cue music.
Don't forget that your skin is your largest organ, and the sun can be your skin's worst enemy. Dermatologist recommended Neutrogena products offer the ultimate protection for your skin. From makeup remover wipes to Hydro Boost Water Gel Facial Moisturizer, BJ's has your entire lineup of Neutrogena skincare products. And now through December 3rd, save $4 on any Neutrogena product at BJ's. Love your skin back and save now through December 3rd, only at BJ's.
Well, well, well. Shopping for a car?
Yep, Carvana made financing a car as smooth as can be.
Oh, yeah?
I got pre-qualified instantly and had real terms personalized just for me.
Doesn't get much smoother than that.
Well, I got to browse thousands of car options on Carvana, all within my budget.
Doesn't get much smoother than that.
It does. I actually wanted a car that seemed out of my range, but I was able to add a cosigner and found my dream car.
It doesn't get much...
Oh, it gets smoother. It's getting delivered tomorrow.
Visit Carvana.com or download the app to get pre-qualified today.